The British Empire began with a small island kingdom that gradually transformed into the largest empire in history. In the late 15th and early 16th centuries, England joined the Great Age of Exploration, inspired by sailors like John Cabot. At first, it established control closer to home in Ireland, but soon it looked overseas. In 1607, the first permanent English colony in North America was founded at Jamestown, followed by Plymouth in 1620. These early settlements were fragile but marked the beginning of a global empire. The Caribbean quickly became a crucial part of Britain's expansion. Colonies like Barbados and Jamaica grew rich from sugar plantations, which depended on enslaved Africans transported through the transatlantic slave trade. This trade brought great wealth but also enormous human suffering. Meanwhile, England's growing naval power helped it challenge Spain, the Netherlands, and France for dominance on the seas. By the 18th century, Britain was emerging as a major world power. The 1707 Union of England and Scotland created Great Britain, giving it greater strength to expand abroad. The East India Company extended influence across India, using both trade and military force. Wars with France further expanded Britain's holdings. The decisive Seven Years' War, 1756–1763, gave Britain Canada, dominance in India, and control of valuable Caribbean islands. By mid-century, Britain had become the world's leading colonial power. Yet challenges soon followed. In North America, Britain's 13 colonies grew dissatisfied with taxation and political restrictions. This led to the American Revolution in 1775 and the creation of the United States in 1783. The loss was a serious setback, but Britain soon shifted focus to other regions. It expanded further in India, colonized Australia after 1788, and strengthened its influence in Africa and Asia. The 19th century was the peak of the British Empire. After defeating Napoleon in 1815, Britain stood without rival. The Industrial Revolution turned Britain into the workshop of the world, producing goods sold across its empire. Colonies supplied raw materials such as cotton, tea, and sugar, while the Royal Navy ensured global trade routes remained secure. Britain also abolished the slave trade in 1807 and slavery in its colonies in 1833, presenting itself as a moral leader, though many colonial subjects still faced exploitation and inequality. India became central to the empire. After the rebellion of 1857, the British Crown took direct rule, making India the jewel in the crown. In Africa, Britain joined the late 19th century scramble for Africa, seizing vast territories. By 1900, the empire controlled a quarter of the world's land and people, with colonies stretching across every continent. Britain prided itself on being an empire where the sun never set. Despite its power, the empire faced tensions. In settler colonies like Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, European communities demanded greater self-government, which Britain gradually granted through dominion status. In Asia and Africa, however, resistance to colonial rule grew, with movements demanding freedom and self-determination. The First World War, 1914–1918, tested the empire's strength. Colonies contributed millions of soldiers and vital resources, helping secure victory. But the war also deepened financial burdens and fueled nationalist movements, especially in India under Gandhi's leadership. The Second World War, 1939–1945, weakened Britain further. Though it emerged victorious, it was economically exhausted, while new superpowers, the United States and Soviet Union, dominated global politics. After 1945, decolonization accelerated. India and Pakistan gained independence in 1947, followed by dozens of nations in Asia, Africa, and the Caribbean. One by one, Britain's colonies became independent states, many choosing to remain part of the Commonwealth of Nations, a voluntary association of former colonies and Britain. Today, the British Empire is remembered with both pride and criticism. It spread English, global trade, and parliamentary systems, but it also caused exploitation, displacement, and cultural loss. At its height, it shaped the modern world more than any other empire. Its rise and fall tell the story of how a small island nation built, ruled, and eventually lost the most extensive empire the world has ever seen.